G2 and Liquid have played this map not so long ago, Ryan. Good start for G2 in the defensive half. We're up 6-2. Didn't end so well at 13-9. Their attacking side leaves a lot to be desired. They're going to have to do a lot of heavy lifting here on the defense.
So far, it's like Liquid leading into it. They're still doubling down on the double controller. There's a lot of merit to it, and already it seems that they're setting up to go for a fast B execute. So much utility to work with. And it really had G2's number once they went onto the attack, like you said. Now the Pips and the rest of G2 have seen it. They can anti-strat it, and maybe they could dismantle it in the way that they did on Icebox. But this is a big game for Liquid to bounce back from. You have all of the team to look towards, but most certainly Soulcast. He was pretty good on the raise beforehand. He has a lot to do here for this duelist role on this team.
Lots of heavy lifting for G2 on this defensive side. We'll see if they can get off to a good start in this pistol. Straight away in towards mid. It's a hole broken in that wall straight away. Maybe a fight even coming down from the mailroom. It's Hoodie that's found the first. Team Liquid looking to charge back into Vera. The play that claims the life back. But again, it's the extension upon the initial kill for G2 that has put them into the 4v3.
With that mid control, G2 could just put all of that focus onto B main. But Scream still finding some impact. 2 versus 3 is available, but getting this plant down. Look how quickly G2 are trying to wrap in. Might not even matter. Okay. Scream, it's a good time for him to come online. Avova in a 1v2.
He was the player fragging over on the last map, right? He was still delivering an impact, but Avova looks to break them down. Scream, the timing looks away, finally spots Avova. That's going to draw both players to look at this angle, and now they're hunting. They've split into 1v1s, but Scream will take 4. Pistol picked up for Team Liquid. They will not let G2 get off to...
That's the difficult part for the most part.
Yeah, it's hard to rely on that. You can't really look at it and feel like you can ever be that confident in G2 when they had to head over that second half. But for Team Liquid, if they can make the changes here on split, maybe they can find themselves back in a competitive position for that spot in Reykjavik.
Yeah, that's the first pistol Liquid's been able to pick up as well. G2, the last time they played split, picked up the pistol on this defense too. It's one of the reasons why they're able to keep rolling forward.
Ooh, Hoodie slipping his way through, gets tagged up, has to heal on the retreat. No kill yet for either side, but Team Liquid certainly have some solid map control to play with. It's about to be challenged here by Mixwell. Had his shot when the nades were in hand, but Soulcast will survive. Now they decide their call to the B strike will certainly be coming through. Soulcast has picked up one, stunned, but luckily Link able to back him up. Those two always seem to be working alongside of each other. Now Nuka and Avova left in the 2v4.
Inukie's turn to shine. Avova's still alive, but with a shorty in mid, Rivera's keeping his distance. In the end, he's the reliant one, right? Like Nivera is just the tools in hand. More defaulted across the map.
Yeah, Mixwell realizes he's not in a position now to challenge, has to rendezvous back to safety. G2 can't afford to lose a player this early. Again, this is a bonus for Team Liquid. Try to break open that wall in mid. Just want to break all of it so you don't get caught by anybody who's just playing on either side of it. Once you chop it down, remove some of the angles you can set up with. For Team Liquid now, though, still the spike position towards A. A little bit of a party, seeing what's going on over towards B, but for the most part, Ryan, still leaving themselves open with options.
Yeah, I think the biggest adjustment so far from watching Team Liquid on the attack is just more mid-pressure. We're working the extremities a lot more the last time that they played, and now knowing that they can pick up some of that utility. Yampi, it's a wide peak to try and take that engagement, and that's a tough little map to lose. Nobody's around him to trade. There's not really baiting any rotations, but Soulcast getting that kill into heaven just might do that.
Yeah, but if you keep the numbers at a 2 versus 3 scenario over here, Team Liquid still favored with the numbers. Avova looks to hold it, chops down 1. It's got his stimmies down. And we'll see if Brumi can get anything done with it. Nuka comes around the backside. Link now removed. Now Soulcast and Scream left in a position where they're trying to recover this one for Team Liquid, but you look at the weapons they've got. Scream on a Sheriff. He's also been caught by Mixwell on his blind side. So just Soulcast, he'll get an orb on the way out, but he is pinned in the corner. I think Mixwell realized he's got him trapped, and now Soulcast will swing out to die. Mixwell removes him and takes 3, and G2 finally have their...
He executes.
See if Mixwell can get something done. Soulcast gets challenged, and that's what's so great about Chamber. You can get in the midst of a battle and just get out like that, just so quickly. In for one, claims the first kill, and there's nothing Team Liquid can do about it. No trade potential.
It's also just knowing that there's going to be anybody coming on the cross. A lot of utility dedicated to try and get Soulcast into that position, and he goes down. The rest of G2 is happy. They're even trying to take this mid control back, this boom bot. Liquid, sort of a minute into this round, and they have no control to really work with. G2 are sitting pretty right now in a 5v4 in mid control.
Well, now Team Liquid start to think about their only option that feels available to them, and it is B. They don't have mid right now at all, so there's not even any split potential to get into this B site. You're all coming in from one avenue. And this certainly will favor the G2 defense. Avova spots one and actually brings down a smoke in front of him. Scream trying to play over the wall, but a hole made in it, so it's no longer a walkway. In fact, it's not even an effective cover piece anymore either. Nukia's dropped Yampy. It's getting worrying now for Team Liquid. They're just throwing bodies at the situation. It's not getting any better. Team Liquid crumbling as Scream tries to tap away, but it's just one stylish headshot before Mixwell triples up.
Heavy, all of the utility coming out. And G2 have an answer to it again. Look at them.
Team Liquid going to the challenge. Mixwell best Soulcast at the start of the round again. Obviously, he can't make the exact same play he made in the previous, but this time pulling out the tour de force, positions himself to watch ramps. Soulcast made the exact same maneuver, and this time will reach the same fate. So Team Liquid down a player, and it's awful when you lose your duelist this early on in a round like this, right? You're upgraded pistols. This should be G2 taking 3, no problem. And for G2, the context you really have to set for them is that they need to win this one cleanly. They want to build that money up even further because, as we pointed out at the start of the show here, Ryan, G2 were up 6-2 the other day here in the defense and ended up losing 13-9. So we need to see G2 have a very strong defense, and they need money for that.
Right there.
Reset coming in over towards B main. Farmed up Yampy a couple of orbs, so he might be able to pick up another one. G2 didn't go for it beforehand. Vova's watching it. As soon as he finds that contact, he'll smoke off that entrance. I think Team Liquid on this buy just want to make sure that they have the rolling thunder going into round number 6. But if they can find an opening, they have a relatively open site, but it's just this utility. So formulaic from Liquid.
Yeah, Molly down now. Vova gives himself a faster fire rate, spamming through that smoke. Link and Yampy both go down, and another one caught through the smoke itself. It's a shutdown. Team Liquid don't even get close to this B site. Flawless round.
Very good at adjusting and fixing stuff after a loss.
Yes.
So Liquid, the fact that the same stuff is coming out and G2 have just been reading this perfectly, we're seeing a lot more aggression out of Mixel, right? It was very passive last time. Now we're seeing him push those extremities with the operator, with the rendezvous to get out. It means that Liquid can't explode onto sites. They're constantly shut down when it comes to their pace.
Yeah, Team Liquid, you can just see with how they're setting up in this round, they don't feel comfortable going anywhere else but B right now. They're completely shut off from all other maps. It must be, there's a claustrophobic feeling right now for Team Liquid that their call book really only has the B site written down in it.
G2 again with a read. The Sage Wall goes up now, 40 seconds into the round, not at the start of it, because G2 sort of know, okay, they've gone for some initial pressure on B, they're going to reset mid. Put the wall down then, just forces them to do more and more. It really makes this attack lethargic from Team Liquid. And now
it feels like the utility usage has just been perfect for G2.
Yeah, it's like a tempo to a song, right? They just know when everything should land. Mixwell's been here the whole time. With this Rolling Thunder almost available for Yampy, now he's trying to execute in, but Soulcast, that's another first step, and that's with the showstopper.
Mixwell has just had his number all game long, yet again brings down Soulcast. Mixwell repositions, pulls out the Headhunter, tries to go for 4. Unfortunately for him, he will not be able to capitalize on that chance, and it thrusts Link into the clutch. A 1v3 total for Link. He's already found that first, but this time it's a limiting factor. Position known of the defender spawn player, and Nuka spotted out as well. Link tries. But tries he might. It is G2, and we'll take him out. 4
team right now, Dinko. That's the concerning part.
It was the same on Icebox. Good start this time from Yampy. Mixwell finally punished, and that's an opening towards this B site. Also Yampy, like you mentioned, eyes on that Rolling Thunder. It's available now for Team Liquid. And it's going to be thrown on in. Weaker weapons. They need everything they can get here. Oh, this is just looking so rough. Here comes the orbital strike just to disallow any pace to the play for Team Liquid. They were held back even behind Hoodie's slow. So right now, Team Liquid, they get the chance. They use the Rolling Thunder, but nothing gained from it.
You also just look at the buy too. The ultimate's expended so far. And you are forcing them out of G2 at the very least, but their economy is fine. You're the one that's on like an eco with an operator for Scream. That could catch people off. But Evova's been so good at shutting this down. They're getting the stall coming through, and he's just good enough to spray through to catch Nivera.
Yes, well, Link obviously from the shadows teleports to the A site, confirms his clearance, but the spike is at the back. And Nukia has removed it from the pack. He has severed it from his support network. And now, while Team Liquid, it's panic stations. They have to come back into the shots that G2 are firing through that smoke. And you may have seen a chance. You may have seen a glimmer of hope with these pistols, but Team Liquid, they use 2 ultimates, and it's going to be to no avail. 25 seconds, Scream left, alone. Operator in hand, no opportunities coming his way. And the spike safely in the hands of G2 as they will post 5. And just reiterating the scoreline that G2 held against Team Liquid at the start of Split the last time, it was 6-2. Now we're looking at 5, already picked up for G2. Team Liquid were able to still pull that back, so...
A ramp?
Yes, feels like a very tight G2 this time, doesn't it?
Yeah, like G2 are just not having those same sort of mistakes. And the players that are, like for example where Mixwell is, players were constantly caught out there. Team Liquid were in a 5v4. But because it's the chamber, you could play those aggressive angles and still get out when needed. Like Mixwell feels much more involved this time in comparison to the last series.
And that's the thing, right? It's going to take time for G2 to figure out how do we implement this chamber most effectively. And I think we're starting to see some of the rewards of the hard work that G2 have been putting in, that homework. And perhaps Pipson is spearheaded. But you look now and Team Liquid have a bit of control finally towards ropes. How often have we seen them up here, Ryan?
Barely at all. And it's still difficult to try and take that control when you don't have anybody pushing through A main.
It looks like they're going to go set up for possible B split if that spike continues its path towards B main. And the problem is, when these B hits, it has been just one-dimensional, right? They've been able to focus just on main. This time it's a split. This time Hoodie's not looking. Eventually we get the information, they are coming in. Wall goes up to cover them off, and they have to try and split this site. 27 seconds left. Hoodie holding from Heaven platform. And he's got a lineup. They come into him, and Hoodie has 2. He can't quite get 3 as Scream is able to get him done. And now Scream and Yampy pulling kills back and forth. The orbital strike not connecting. Yampy certainly will, though. And finally, it is Team Liquid with the advantage, and Yampy has arrived to the server. It's just Nukia thrust into the 1v3. They're not looking his way. They all line up, and Nukia, he has 3. That is unbelievable. Nukia gets the chance, and Team Liquid, that is a nightmare. They eclipse, and they line up, and Nukia is the bowling ball that gets them 6. Finally work their way into a competitive round. Yampy has a pop-off, and G2 immediately crack their skulls. We're now in round 9, wall up in middle. Team Liquid, what is the response here? This is where their tenacity, this is where their mental fortitude will truly be tested. One map down already in your last chance to qualify for Masters Reykjavik.
Nice little trap plays. G2 again making things difficult for Team Liquid to take mid control. But also look towards A. Nivera is trying to lurk on this Brimstone, using his smokes to get into a high position. But yet again, the Chamber's just watching it, keeping an eye. Speaking of which, Meadow kind of knows that this Vent's position could be under threat. He's keeping a close watch, but Yampy, the 2 breaches, might face off against each other.
Yeah, feels like that's teetering on a knife's edge right now between these 2. Meadow sends his fault line forward. Yampy dodges and doesn't bite just down yet. Yampy goes up the rope. It's 1 for Yampy, can't follow up. Now we look to Mixwell. The impact he's been having in this matchup is unrivaled. Mixwell removes Soulcast. And now G2, well, at least there's a res coming in for Team Liquid. And luckily Soulcast does get back up to his feet. It's had a frustrating match here, Soulcast. Meadows turn, Link decides to sweep on by, his head removed. Link gets traded out 1 for 1. Hoodie and Mixwell just so strong in the hole. 10 seconds left, and Avova comes in from above. It comes close. It feels like Liquid has
safest player, and he could play the most aggressive angles. He's barely died first. It was once, I think, up against the Marshall. And now it feels that Liquid are just throwing stuff at a brick wall and seeing what sticks. And right now, it really isn't working. Another eco that they've had to work with. It's also like the ultimates. When you use a Rolling Thunder up in the last 50, for example, it means that you don't have it for that full buy. And that stall for G2 is just, such a problem.
And for Soulcast, he's just been blast packing into a brick wall, what feels like pretty much every round, right? And he's such an impactful player, such a player you want to have on the board here for Team Liquid, but he just keeps getting removed. When you remove a piece like that, G2 are going to have an easy time of things. Avova, he's ready to rinse and repeat to the exact same smoke setup. Molly combo. Actually haven't accelerated, so he hasn't had to throw it down yet. Team Liquid realize, all right, let's not walk into that again. We know how that goes, and instead Scream decides to run out. Sheriff to the head. Hoodie and Avova will get 2 kills, and Hoodie will res his teammate Nukia. Yampy slips his way in from heaven, gets caught. And yeah, just Team Liquid trying everything they can, but G2 just have the answers immediately. Now Link thrust into the 1v5 with a judge in hand. It's not really a winnable position here, right?
Sometimes with Link, you kind of feel it in the air, but it's just, I don't know what's up with Liquid and Fnatic today. It was just not their day so far. 8-2. I can understand it on G2 has, expecting a fast play from Liquid.
And towards A of all things as well. Team Liquid really struggling to crack a hole. Yampy with a rolling thunder. But they're off the site. It's going to be rather ineffective. Meadow, the only player caught by it. They go up in towards Heaven. Soulcast really trying to deliver some impact here. He needs to. Down below, spots the head of Meadow. Meadow will fall to Link, who gets a double. Quick kills here from Link. That gives Team Liquid a chance here on the site. It has to be a retake. And Navera, he's gone aggressive, and he's gone too aggressive. Avova has punished him for his overzealous play. And now we have to look to G2. They've got the advantage into this.
Is this going to be hers? Optal strike used from Avova gets caught out, but Nuki on the high ground. It's all up to Link again.
Yeah, Nuka left alone 1v1. Link, you call him the master of the clutch, and certainly can be. Hasn't really had too many winnable situations, but this one certainly is. Nuka's had a miracle go his way already. This time around, taps. Link chasing after him. Swings wide as Nuka, and Link with a 4K. He finally steps.
What, their second, third plant that they've managed to get down?
Yeah, it's been very rough. Very rough indeed. Mixwell into the mid-peak. He's got the tour de force out again. We know what kind of impact he can have when he gets aggressive like this. Never wants to step too far away from his rendezvous. He has gone a little bit more on the risk side of things here. Avova, of course. Yampy gets caught through the smoke.
It's also like, well, now you've got the Omen actually pushing up into this sightline in mid, so Link needs to be very careful.
No. Oh, the timing nearly works for Link, but even then, Mixwell looks away and is able to recover himself and take the kill. So G2, 2-player advantage. The spike's going to be recovered. He's going to be running back over towards A.
And like on Icebox, Mixwell got away with so much like upping. He almost had more kills than the 2-ups when they were online for Liquid.
Yeah.
But it's the response, right? You've got Yampy there on the breach, but there's no flashes or stuns going into mid, so Mixwell can take all of this space, and there's very little utility other than the bits thrown out at the start of a round on A. Now the Showstopper's going to come through with that execute, but he's hit with so much damage by the paint shell.
Oh, he's so close to the kill, but unable to get it with a Showstopper. Able to recover nonetheless and get one with a rifle. Meadow quick to reply. And even then, with that pick, it's not really done a whole lot here. We need more from Team Liquid. Navera certainly stepped up to the mark of a headshot to Meadow. And now the brothers into the clutch again. This time Scream hits the headshot. The numbers now even yet again on the player count. Hoodie begins his descent from heaven. He's peering over the site. They have to be in a tight position here, Team Liquid. They have to be close together, and they know that. Mixwell will clear it methodically. Takes down one. Navera tries to split them into the 1v1s, and he's so close, and he's got it. Team Liquid, they needed 4 at the half, and they get...
Well, look at the adjustments that they've made so far. So now G2 trying to play in those fights. These double controllers actually stacked on the same site towards A. It's just a raise on B. And similar startup for Liquid, just that Sage Wall in mid to keep that central control. What have G2 been working on? What's their adjustment to this map that they lost in the last time that these guys played?
You're certainly right on that fact, Ryan. The fact that G2 have been doing their homework since that matchup. We've seen evidence of it. I think the biggest question mark will be their attacking side. I'm sure that is what a lot of the work went into. Minute left. G2 taking some mid control. Look at the Liquid setup. 2 inside of B. 3 positioned towards A. They're giving them this control in towards mid.
Pace feels slower. Trying to weed out more utility, but the angle that we're seeing Scream play from... You already got a 4K in the last pistol. What can you do this time?
Yeah, the angle he's playing from actually allows him to avoid that fault line. And so now Scream can sit back and get the first pick of play. Now his teammates down on the side as well. They've done damage on the Hoodie. He's so close to falling. Heals himself up. Scream further back towards defender spawn. Soulcast spots a flying nuka and will remove him from that sky as Meadow and Hoodie bounce back for G2. It's now the cavalry arriving for Team Liquid. The rotation is quick and the spike is down. It's Avova and Meadow versus Link and Yampy. The 2v2 will ensue with 14 seconds left. Eventually, G2 will have to commit to that plant, and Yampy knows that. He's so close, but he can't deny. And so with a spike down, the chances of G2 winning this round now elevate. And Avova, he's got his teammate playing further back. In fact, he's got him wrapping all the way around. It's the big flank from Meadow. That means Avova has to buy time. He has to play as much time as possible. They swing out, they double peek, but Meadow, the secret from heaven, he takes down 2 from above.
Half before, and you sort of expect him to maybe sort of bring something out like that again, but Meadow, I can't emphasize how amazing he has been in these playoffs.
He's been absolutely brilliant. And let's talk about Meadow in terms of his role switches as well, right? I mean, this guy, one trick pony, I think, was something that applied to him with the Cypher situation, but the fact that he's been able to deliver on so many different agents now and kind of reinvent himself and play it to this level, it's been great to see.
His Killjoy, his Viper, now his Breach, something that we've not really seen before, certainly at a VCT level until this playoffs. G2 should be a straightforward execute, but the difference is, you know, like Liquid like to run these sort of setups as well, but the freedom, granted it is against an eco, you have Liquid stacking over on the other side. But just compare, like that's what Liquid wanted to do on those B executes. But G2 was so constrictive, they didn't let them. But G2 are very good at taking this space. Look at them again.
Yeah, very good. You know, G2 just want to sweep this up. They don't want to lose too many players here. Keep enough to get a solid bonus opportunity, at least in the next. Scream. Has got the fastest sheriff in EMEA, I would say. Well, he's trying his best, but unable to get it done. Hoodie will remove him, and now Soulcast left into MB4. He's removed. Nuka with 3 and 10 rounds now for G2, as you would expect.
That tick that was there last time.
Yeah,
would be very much G2 head in there this time.
There will be a new champion. G2 would love it to be them. The hard work, the evolution of this side continues to make us wonder, will they be competitive? This is that one way. We've seen a couple players rocking this now with a little gap underneath this wall on the right side. You could see the feet cross if you go for a wide stance. And he's going to look for it. Scream's wall now broken up, so not really capitalizing too much off of it. Has to now drop back into a more recessive position.
They've put a trademark down. Whether that's going to be to protect their flank on the execute, or whether that's just a reset towards A and seeing if Team Liquid try and take that B space back, they're going to be found out. Vera's expecting this though. There's no real protection though.
He has to be. He has to get his gun out here. They're pushing him. Find the chance that Molly will actually separate them and sever them off in the pack, but Hoodie still so good. Takes down Navarro. That's a crucially important kill. Now you have to look towards Yampy in the site. His teammate is out towards defender spawn, but he needs to do something. Yampy can't manage a single kill. And now Team Liquid, they're just down to 3 players. If you lose to a bonus like this, the money will be so good for G2. They'll be on 11 rounds. There needs to be some magic here for Team Liquid. Can Scream beat a magician? Link's down, Scream out as well, and Liquid just topple easily to the hand of G2.
8 or 9, I think it was those multi-kill clutches.
Yeah, you can't. They're not sustainable, Ryan. Right? That's the point. You can't win those and rely on those time and time again. You need the system to start working out here. Boombot's traded out mid and towards B. Meadow will dispatch, and this is Liquid taking a bit more of a risk now. They realize they have weaker guns.
Just noticed that they have 3 judges, and that's why they're trying to close in on that space. You got 1 on B main, you've got 1 in mid here, and then the final one for Nivera on A.
Yeah, At this point, Team Liquid, they need G2 to bite on a trap. They need them to walk in towards Scream. They need them to walk into B main. But right now, G2 are not going to be a team that are not going to check all of these corners. They're going to leave no stone unturned. Utility's going to come in and really mess up this Team Liquid setup. It's going to be hard to catch G2 sleeping here. They have come ready, primed and ready to take their spot in Iceland. And they now start to challenge Yampy. He realizes that, sends the Aftershock in to try and buy some time, but Nuka, he's caught the blind side. He's went right through it and caught Yampy on the other side. Now Meadow catches out Scream, and these numbers dwindling for Team Liquid. They're just down to 3.
There's clearly an area that Liquid are trying to like push on through, and they're not falling for anything. They're clearing these angles perfectly. These judges really can't find all that much, if at all anything. And the economy is still torrid for Liquid. If G2 make this 12, which they should at this point.
Absolutely will. Link is the only remaining player with a Spectre in his hands, and Avova makes sure that he walks out with nothing. Team Liquid decision, and we're starting to see some of those improvements already. G2, what is their call to try and close this? Look at the buy Team Liquid have. This is the worst situation for Team Liquid to be in.
Initial push up from Liquid onto A, and they just have to like stack, find something else. No pressure on A. They kind of know that these early mid pressures have been coming in. Now it's tentative. Again, it feels like Liquid aren't sure how they want to approach things, and G2 are just running the simulation each time. Mid, mail, reset through vents, A tower, execute.
I look what G2 have available. They have the Rolling Thunder up in Meadow. Couple ult points away as well from Luka getting that, well, one away from him on the showstopper. Here comes that Rolling Thunder to clear out Heaven. Forces Team Liquid back and creates an opening now for G2 to attack.
Spraying through the smoke, showstopper now going to come in actually to try and flank in behind, but it still doesn't seem to connect. Soulcast's luck has been out of it, and Link holding onto the Judge could be the last hope.
Well, Meadow has found Link. It's just Scream and Navarra trying to keep their team in this one. VCT looks to come to an end. It's just one player for Navarra to keep Team Liquid in this one. He walks, but to his demise, G2 truly are one step away. Navarra will take down Avova. They're throwing everything they've got at him, and Mixwell will